Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Welcome back to Good Conversations.
Yep.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. Good conversation. It's an ongoing great conversation for what when he's our presence and he's in the midst. Nothing
Mm-hmm.
but good can happen. You know,
That's right.
he's he doesn't just order our steps; he orders our lips too. He's blessing us with a word to share and hope to share and peace to share,
Yes.
and we grow through our conversations. It is it's a constant Q&A going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
That's
constant
right.
Q&A. Yeah. So yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and
To
welcome
all.
to Good Conversation. Ron and I look forward to having a good conversation about overcoming obstacles, pressing forward
Yes.
despite your obstacles. So we just finished praying for perseverance, and perseverance is a verb. It is a
Mm-hmm.
to do thing.
That's right.
It is to continue in a course of action in the face of difficulty or with little or no prospect of success. It is that little ant that is determined and devoted to move the rubber tree plant. It is a persistence. See, when you add perseverance to consistency, it becomes persistence. You you
Yes.
you you you're not giving up, and you're
That's right.
not giving in. You will. Every time we say will, realize it's part of your soul. It is a
Mm-hmm.
determination that you will do well. You will carry on. You will keep going. You will. And what's funny is that tug of war that becomes between the mindset that tries to get you to quit. And sometimes shifting and changing is important. But when you're taught to do the right thing and you're doing the right thing and it's not working, you can't call that insanity.
Nope.
No, no, no. The world says if you continue to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, and you're not getting it right away, that it's insanity. But truly, that's practice. That's making you perfect. When you're doing the right thing. If you're doing the wrong thing, that's basically sin,
Yeah.
and that
Yep.
is insanity. All forms of sin is insanity. Let me say that again. All, especially willful, all willful, intentional forms of sin is insanity because you are intentionally rebelling against wisdom and against truth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to live a lie to fight the truth and fight wisdom.
Mm.
Okay. With
Mm.
that said, with that said,
Woo, woo,
with that said,
woo. Ouch.
with that, and that's what's promoted.
Yeah.
That's what's promoted. The individual becomes a prey. The
Mm-hmm.
individual unto themselves are the least safe.
That's right.
That's why it says purposes are established through a multitude
Of
of
counsel.
counsel. And that counsel is connected to wisdom. It's not just any old
Yes.
counsel, and it's not just any old advice.
Right.
Because
Right.
some advices.
Mm-hmm.
Some advices, and a
Yes.
vice is not a good thing if you know what
No.
that is. It's a thing that can be an addiction. It's a thing that can be a misguidance, a vice,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Right? It, Vise comes from vision, right? And sometimes if you add details, they become distractions, details that don't belong.
Mm-hmm.
Things that are not that are obviously not supposed to be there. Because in the middle of an awesome sermon, if somebody comes in drunk and making noise, that is a distraction from the word that is being spoken. If a child is disruptive, passing gas in class, that is a distraction from what is being taught. And
That's right.
sometimes it takes a while to get things back on track. Perseverance is that winning mindset that despite no
Mm-hmm.
matter what, we gonna win. Ron, there's something that the conversation that Lamont and I used to have during the formation, the difficult times of the formation of Further and Farther. It was always joyful, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it was difficult. And
Yeah.
I always use the example of like Enola Gay. I don't know if you remember the movie Enola Gay. They talked about a plane, those planes, those
Yeah.
B-12 or B-1
Yeah.
bombers.
Yeah.
They
The
used to
bombers.
the bombers that used to fly missions over Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And the closer you get to Berlin, the more flack you get. See,
Yeah.
we
The
talk
more
about getting flack, but
anti-aircraft fire.
people
Yeah.
understand the military significance of flack. Flack is when the enemy launches missiles at you, launches projectiles. But the old style projectiles were not guided. There was no
Right.
guidance on them. So they shot them at a whole bunch of them up at you, and they would blow up around you. There was a lot of explosions going around
Right.
you.
Right. Right.
Every once in a while they get lucky and hit you. But the closer you get to your target, the more dense and heavy the flak is.
Yes. It
They fire
increases.
more at you, right? But I always said, L, we no matter what it comes at us, we're going to get to Berlin and we're going to drop these bombs.
Come on now.
We're going to drop these bombs,
Come on
right?
now.
So you understand what I'm saying? They used to fly these missions, and some people would come back and some people wouldn't. They fly these
Mm-hmm.
missions to go drop bombs on the enemy, go on the enemy camp, but some would get knocked down. Some would turn away. They'd be
Mm-hmm.
short on fuel. All sorts of reasons. But those who persevered, those who
Yeah.
were
Yes.
determined to fly a little higher, maybe
Yep.
higher than the flak. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you gotta fly a little higher than the flak.
Yeah. You got, as they say, fly above the flat. You know,
Yes, you fly
where
above the flak.
the range of the shells
Yes,
dissipate the higher in altitude you're up, so you
yes,
don't endure so much. And
yes,
the bombers would fly as high as they could to
yes,
get to their point of where they're going to drop on their targets. So at the
yes,
point they're going to drop on their targets, that's what they would do, what they would call their bomb run.
yes. A bomb
Yeah.
run. That's exactly what it is. It's a bombing run, and you're dropping ordnance,
Yes.
right? You're dropping ordnance. I don't know if you're catching all of these parallels to us walking right. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you catch all these parallels to
Mm-hmm.
you walking in your purpose. You need to take it up a notch sometimes to
Mm-hmm.
keep going. In
Yes.
order, you have to fly above the insults. You have to fly above all the isms,
Yes. Yes.
all the isms, the sexism, the racism, the lack of professionalism, all the isms that cause
Mm-hmm.
schisms,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have to fly above that. So what you're hearing is a small, still voice. You know, you're hearing the mighty rushing wind.
Right.
You're hearing him, but you're not hearing. You're not. Your ear is catching some of the stuff they're saying, but you're dropping it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it
Mm-hmm.
becomes an incomplete. If you know what it is in football, that if you catch something, you hold on to it, it's a completion, right? What if it's an insult? If you catch it and you hold on to it, the devastation that was intended becomes complete.
Yes.
But if it's thrown to you and it's not for you, if it's not for you and you drop it, it's what's called incomplete.
Exactly.
It right? It's incomplete. So
Exactly.
some things the good things you need to catch, the good things you need to catch and focus on catching that. But the things that are not advantageous, the things that are not for the betterment of the kingdom or for you, those things need to be dropped. Those are the weights that so easily beset us. Those
That's
those
right.
those points
That's
of
right.
bitterness.
That's right.
Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
Ron,
Hey.
um, perseverance are daily practices to keep us going on this Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
January 25th, 2023. Sometimes you don't feel like getting out of bed, but you got to persevere.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Sometimes,
Yep.
sometimes you don't feel like, right? See that is that battle we talk about in the soul, right?
Uh-huh.
The senses, the senses start to speak to the emotions, and they try
Mm-hmm.
to form a coup, right over the
Yeah.
will. They try to form a coup.
They begin to act as though they're in charge.
Exactly, exactly, exactly,
Try
exactly.
to ignore completely what the will's job is, and that the will is the center of all things, to
Yes,
control how everything else operates. And the emotions, like,
yes,
nah, not today, buddy. I got
yes,
this. And then when
yes.
things go array,
Hmm.
it's because everything's out of place of the way
Yes,
it should be operating. You know,
yes,
and that's when we talk about consistency. And if take
yes,
what you were saying earlier,
yes.
and fast forward that to modern times,
Hmm.
because of what that flack used to do, new
Yes,
methods had to be developed to
yes,
counter the flack. So
yes,
in regular life, when we are getting hit with flack, we
yes.
don't have any kind of system to help us to counter it, except for
Right.
what we do ourselves, which is
Hmm.
insufficient, trying to use physical things to fight spiritual things and things
Yes,
that are based out of the spirit to overcome us. So us
yes,
trying to react to it through the physical, we wind
yes,
up in defeat every time because we don't
yes.
have the adequate enough equipment to
Mm.
use to diffuse that flak, to throw it
Yes,
off. So what did they
yes.
develop for planes later on in these modern days? They came up with
Countermeasures,
countermeasures
countermeasures.
to
Yes,
come against those things, because now the attacks got more sophisticated
yes,
with inventions. Now
yes.
instead of projectiles or shells, you have missiles now,
Guided, heat
guided
seeking,
missiles that they're
heat seeking.
specifically made to focus and get through. So you have to
Yes,
have countermeasures
yes,
that will throw off the
yes,
missile, that will cause
yes,
it to go astray, so it can't
yes,
hit its target.
yes,
There's what we call evasion tactics for
yes,
how to evade the missile. So we got to
yes.
be able to operate. And that's where, when you have wisdom, you can
Mhm.
evade what the
Yes,
enemy is coming against you with,
yes.
and it becomes consistent because you
Hmm.
understand what it takes
Hmm.
to stay in this position of dealing with obstacles. You become diligent in what you're doing. See,
Hmm.
that level of belief that you develop, it
Hmm.
impacts your level of action.
Yes,
Whatever level of belief you operating on is the level of action that you're going to push forward with. When
right.
you understand who you are, whose you are, and what you are, it allows you to handle those things in a better
Mm.
form. When you think about it, what is your foundation?
Mm.
What's your anchor? What's an
The
anchor?
rock.
An anchor, we know that an anchor is the strength of it is only tested during intense pressure. Now you
Hmm.
know, because you're
Yes,
former Navy, so you
yes,
watch
yes,
the anchor come up and go down
yes,
24/7. So you know the purpose of an anchor.
yes.
Because that
Stability.
intense pressure, yeah, that
Yeah.
that quality of your anchorage is revealed by the level of testing you go through.
Hmm.
And that's key, that a lot of people don't realize. The test is there not just to challenge you, but to
Hmm.
motivate you.
Hmm.
So when you see obstacles, instead
Hmm.
of you operating in a position of question and doubt, you
Hmm.
start looking at the obstacle from a different perspective when you have an anchor in your life,
Hmm.
which is
Yep.
wisdom and diligence and consistency. When
Hmm.
you have a purpose, when you understand that there's something greater than you that needs to take place, you
Hmm.
understand that I can be persistent about what I'm supposed to do. My
Yep.
favorite thing, those four things I talk about,
Hmm.
that gives you the ability to stand in that time when you need to stand, to help you to see the way you need to see, to operate where you need to do. When you have a disciplined mind, what does it do? It creates a disciplined life.
Right.
And a disciplined mind is the foundation of your will being in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you have your will in charge, you're going to overcome
Mm-hmm.
those challenges that come against you. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to press forward and despite the obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
When you understand I have purpose, when you know that you have a vision to
Mm-hmm.
accomplish something, because vision is the source and the hope of life. you
Mm-hmm.
know, and that's one of the other things I like to say all the time is that the greatest gift ever given to mankind is not the
Mm-hmm.
gift of sight, but the gift of
Yes.
vision.
Mm-hmm.
Sight is a what? A function of the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Vision is what? A function of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
So it's what we're led by our heart, not by what we see.
Mm-hmm.
See, if those fighter jets, those pilots are looking at the missile coming with their eyes,
It's too late.
it's too late. It's too late, man.
It's too late.
But when you listen to your guidance system that lets you know, your
Mm-hmm.
warning system, that something has locked onto you, you have
Mm-hmm.
countermeasures to evade what has been locked onto you.
Mm-hmm.
So now, when you look at that going forward, vision is a function of the heart because eyes that look are common, but eyes that see are rare.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
only comes because you have a foundation. You're anchored
Mm-hmm.
and where you should be to
Mm-hmm.
have to be able to walk in an assurance
Mm-hmm.
which is based in the faith that you have in achieving your goal in
Mm-hmm.
spite of no matter what
Yeah.
comes at you. To your point earlier when you talked about you and Lamont,
Mm-hmm.
you knew you were going to come against opposition.
Yeah. That's guaranteed.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was coming and you wasn't expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like you wasn't sure what it was going. You knew it was coming. You do.
Yes.
You prepared properly in
Yes.
order to do
Yeah.
what you needed to do. You
Yes.
understood that in spite of this challenge, we have what we need to do to get through. See,
Yes.
it's the small things in life that count. Because why? It is the inquisitive leak which empties the biggest reservoir. So when you don't handle the little things, it is very hard to handle the bigger things.
Mm-hmm.
What do we say? The best way to predict your future is what? To create it. So in order for you to persevere in the things you want to do, it is a time of creating. As you go through the obstacles, you should be growing from every one because you should have
Mm-hmm.
learned something from what you
Yeah.
have experienced going through that obstacle. Because at the end of the day, you're going to stay steady fast on what you believe. You're not going to move to the left. You're not going to move to the right. You're not going to be moved by what you see or what you hear
Mm-hmm.
or what's going on in front. You have clarity
Mm-hmm.
because you know what your mission is.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
clarity, no, go ahead, bro.
Yeah. There is um there's somebody who woke up today ready to quit. There's somebody who woke up today. There's a funny quote by Eshawn Burgundy, a gospel hip hop a minister
Mm-hmm.
in hip hop, and he said, How can a pastor retire?
Mm,
Right?
mm. Good. I like that. Good point.
Yeah. How can you retire? Right? You can't really retire. You your walk. It's an eternal walk.
Yeah.
And how do you keep going when things are not going your way? How you know there's sometimes the difficulty. Sometimes the difficulty is health. Sometimes the difficulty is financial. Sometimes the difficulty is relational. Uh, uh, um, but he wants you to be faithful with the little. You talked about the fine details, the small details. Uh, have you ever looked at the side of a plane before it's painted and see the amount of rivets, the amount
Mm-hmm.
of the
Yeah.
amount the amount of the way it's held together,
Yes. Yes.
the way it's held together by there's so much being held together and so much holding it together that you don't see because of the covering, because of the painting on the
That's
outside
right.
of a plane. You don't see all the details that it takes for it to be maintained, and the maintenance of a plane is I mean, really, really important. They make sure
Yes, it
everything
is. It
is
is.
checked before
That's right.
it taxis to the runway. Everything must be checked, double and triple checked before it goes up, before you even attempt to fly. But you have to realize anytime you fly, there are going to be obstacles.
That's
So
right.
so so the weather. In the case of spiritual warfare or in war, you have an enemy that's looking to shoot you down. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where that word "flat" comes from. It's for those who are just joining us. Back in the day, they used to fire things almost like little grenades, almost like little
Yeah.
grenades, and they launch it way up in the air to try and knock planes down. But
Mm-hmm.
that was called flat because you see the explosion, little black puffs of explosion
Right.
going
Right.
on around the plane as you're trying to get to your target to drop the bombs that you're trying to drop. And in the midst of you facilitating your purpose, realize that there will be flack.
Yes.
It's not a might. There will be flack.
That's right.
And it
No ifs
can
and
be
ands about it.
intimidating. It can be intimidating. If you're up in the air, you're already in the air. You're already in the air, and the potential for crash already exists just by the
Mm-hmm.
mechanisms. Now somebody's trying to shoot you down. You may have a proposal to do something that you know is going to bless, but it keeps getting shot down.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, people keep shooting flack at it and give you reasons why you
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't, why you should conform to the ways of the world. But what does it take for you to see things differently? You need to transform your
Yes.
mind,
Yes.
right? Beyond what is being said to you by some around you or
That's
some
right.
under you or some hiding. And we like to use the word haters right now, and
Yeah.
uh, most people ain't even thinking about you.
Yep.
Some people fly off the mouth and just say whatever. They're being used,
Yep.
right? They don't realize the damage they're doing because some of the things they say off the cuff, just off the cuff, may be doing damage because they don't know what's inside of you, what the
Mm-hmm.
turmoil that you're going through, the difficulty, and just to say something is easy for especially now that there's social media. Everybody thinks their opinion is not a pawn. Your opinion is somehow the queen or the king on the board, and you
Right.
think
Right.
and really it's not. It's a pawn. Um, um, the king is God. So we're clear.
Yes. Yes.
And the truth is the queen that moves around and can do all sorts of damage. But for those who are chess players who understand what I just said,
Yes. Yes.
um, um, persevering is an ongoing thing. It is a progressive overcoming.
Mm-hmm.
It's a perpetual overcoming.
Yes, it
It
is.
it, it is you may run into obstacles, but you're determined to get by them. You can go
Mm-hmm.
around them, you can go under them, you can go over them, you can go through them, but you're determined that this is not where I stop. See, that's where the non-quitting comes in.
Right.
The
Right.
determination to not quit. So you may be getting up this morning, and it may be your last day on that job. You may be getting up and all the psyops and all those people who've been plotting against you is coming to fruition. You've been written up or whatever, and you really didn't do it. But and the union can't really help you. Maybe maybe
Mm-hmm.
maybe maybe all that's going on, but you still have purpose.
Yeah.
You still have purpose, and your purpose is not limited to one location or one vocation,
That's right.
right? Your purpose is not limit. The obstacle that you're running into is for you to learn. The
Yes.
obstacle is for you to apply your purpose to get by it, to
Mm-hmm.
apply your gift to sharpen your gift. You know, the a swordsman looks at the stone one way, a sculptor looks at the stone a whole nother way. Your gift, you may be using that stone to sharpen your skills as a swordsman, or you may be chiseling away at that stone and turning it into fine art. But you have to look at the obstacle as an opportunity to
Yep.
improve you and the environment around you,
That's right.
right? So perseverance is blessed by obstacles.
Mm-hmm. Come on, Nate.
Obstacles kind of fuel your perseverance. So how many of us say, "Oh, you don't think I can, huh? You don't think I can, huh? Huh? You don't think I can?" Because and that motivates you to go and do.
Yes, it does. Or it
Some
should.
people, it should,
Yeah.
it should, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Some
yeah. Not
people
everybody's
it,
like
it,
that
it
though.
doesn't, but it should do that. But it's depending
Yeah,
on the foundation of you
yeah,
understanding your purpose.
yes.
Because when you understand, that's what fuels the ability to have the diligence and the consistency. Again, when you have clarity, which
Mm-hmm.
is the key. Most of us don't have clarity. You know, what is clarity? Clarity is the counterbalance of profound thoughts. So if you don't have clarity about your mission, how can you have the perseverance to accomplish your mission? You don't even know what your mission is yet. You think you know, but you're not assured of it.
Mm-hmm.
If someone comes to someone and they're sitting there talking to them and they're talking about the things they want to do, when you ask somebody at a certain point in life, what do you want? And you wait for them to answer, and you ask them, what's your ambitions? What are you pursuing? You wait for them to answer. What are you good at?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people don't even know their skills. They don't even know what they're good at. They only know because of what people tell them. It's like
Mm-hmm.
a basketball player that gets on the court and not knowing the level of skill that they
Mm-hmm.
have when they get on the court, but not understanding that they may have a natural ability to jump high, or they have a natural ability to be a little faster than the other guys. But until
Yeah.
they understand that, they can't begin to excel in that area that they have that ability. You know, when you look at things, do you look in the mirror and ask yourself, honestly, where do I see myself in 5 years from now? And be able to
Mm-hmm.
have an admirable, answer that makes sense, because you're doing what you're being consistent in pursuing what it is you need to pursue, and you
Mm-hmm.
understand that it's going to take wisdom, it's going to take consistency to get where you want to go. It's going to take diligence. You got to ask you, what motivates you?
Mm-hmm.
What is this great quality of life? What does it look like to you? What's required of you to get to where you want to go? What was
Yes.
required of you in Lamont to be able to do what you needed to do so that you could see the success of Furthering Father at this point 10 years
Mm.
later? You hadn't even seen 1 year anniversary, but yet now we're coming on the 10-year anniversary.
Yes.
That
Yes.
but look at that. It took perseverance, it took faithfulness, it took diligence, it took
Mm.
consistency, it took
Yes.
patience, it took facing those obstacles and turning those obstacles into advantages.
Yes. Yes.
And you got in life, everything in life, when you want to keep a promise to yourself, the first step is always the hardest.
Amen. Amen.
Always the hardest. To get the plane off the ground in the air to perform what it created to perform, you got to first get it down the runway. And when you get it
Yep.
down the runway, you got to get it at the right speed so that all the different things of how a plane is supposed to work all come into place to do what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get the plane airborne unless you're moving at a certain speed.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get the flaps and everything else to do what they're supposed to do to lift the plane ground, because it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
make sense to take a thousands of pound object that is sitting on the ground
Tons.
to defy gravity and get in
Mm.
the air and stay in the air.
Yeah. Well,
That in itself is enough.
yeah,
That I mean,
and you have to
oof,
go before that. You have to even go before that.
yes,
Before you even get it on the runway, it has to be on the drawing board.
yep,
It has
has
to
to
be.
be
It has to be
has to be on the
imagined.
drawing board.
It
It
has to
has to
be
be built
imagined.
into it.
Yeah, it has to be imagined. It has to be drawn. It
Yep,
has to be built. It has to be tested.
yes.
And this is before it even gets to fly.
Before it gets to fly,
Yep.
again, it's the foundation of believing.
Yep.
It's the vision. Having sight again, seeing. What is any manufacturer, any visionary, any creator? What do? They see it, what happens.
Yep.
Now, I'm gonna use
Yep.
somebody that's kind of controversial right now, but it's a point to what I'm about to say. Look at
Mm-hmm.
Walt Disney when he had his vision, his dream for Disneyland. He looked
Mm-hmm.
out at a vast open area with a mountain and everything else. And as he
Mm-hmm.
looked, he envisioned what Disneyland would look like before
Mm-hmm.
anything was ever done.
Mm-hmm.
And when someone asked him, "What are you seeing when you look out there?" he vividly described what he saw. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
see the open land. He didn't see the mountains in the background. He
Mm-hmm.
saw what his vision was being
Right.
manifest. It's the same thing with a building. We walk down the
Mm-hmm.
street, and what's the first thing you see? You see them beginning to prepare the land for what is to come. First
Mm-hmm.
time you see some stuff, you see some different equipment start showing up,
Mm-hmm.
cranes and bulldozers, and you see them start working on the land. They're digging out stuff and removing
Mm-hmm.
rock and moving the dirt and start putting
Mm-hmm.
things in ground to supplement what's going to go here. And then all of a sudden,
Pylons. Yeah.
you see a fence come around. But what's on the fence? There's a sign on the fence that says "Coming in the spring of
Mm-hmm.
2023," but there's nothing there. But
Mm-hmm.
the fence has a picture that the architect has created
Gotcha.
of the building that is to be there in the future. But you don't see
Mm-hmm.
anything. You just see what is proposed, the vision. But
Mm-hmm.
everything before it becomes what it was meant to be is what leads to it becoming what it is to become.
It's a process.
It's a
There's a process.
process. So it's
A
the same
process.
thing with us being faithful and diligent to the vision
Mm-hmm.
that's in our lives to accomplish what it is we have to accomplish. It's
Right.
a thought first,
Right.
and until it goes on paper,
Mm-hmm.
it does not gain light. And we know that's
Mm-hmm.
scriptural. The word
Right.
tells us, write down the vision and make it plain.
Mm-hmm.
Key part, make it plain. See, you can
Right.
write it down, but writing it down creates another spiritual atmosphere that gives life to it. Because as it says, as long as it stays up here, it's just a dream.
It's just an idea.
It's just an idea.
It's
But once you
just
take
an
it from
idea.
here and you give structure to it, it
Not
becomes a reality.
a plan. See,
It's a plan.
it's from mind to manifestation.
Yes.
It goes from mind to manifestation. And you may feel whatever you feel, but ultimately the will has to do it,
Yep. Yep.
right? The
That's the
will
key.
has to make the decision to do it. So it's your perseverance is to, as you're learning about it, you're going to learn what you can and can't do as you go survey the land, as you go survey the ground, and you survey what the economy is to buy the materials, as you
Mm-hmm.
survey, or you run into all sorts of obstacles when you're trying to build anything, when you're trying to grow anything, when you're trying to fly anything, when you're trying to do
Yes.
something. There will be obstacles, but those obstacles train you up in the process,
Come on.
so that
Come
when
on.
you have to do it again, you
Yes.
understand who is what, why is where, and how, and you understand and you understand the ins and outs. You become an expert in your
Yes.
purpose. You become
Yes.
an expert, and when and in your expertise, you know how to maneuver. You understand what the obstacles are and how to maneuver
Yes.
around them.
That's right.
And you are not halted by your obstacles,
Mm-hmm. That's
right?
right.
Right?
That's
You are
right.
not halted by them. You are aware of them. You actually appreciate
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because
Yep.
you
Yep.
grow in, because you're growing in appreciation. This was happening throughout the process. You're growing in appreciation. You're growing in that awareness, and the more you understand about it, the more you become a go-to person. You are increasing in value. People
Yeah.
people
Come on.
who are
There you
going to
go.
go through that, people who are going to go through that are going to come to you because you
Yes.
understand.
Yes.
You understand the process, and when you understand the process, you become a resource,
Yes, you
right?
do.
You become a
Yes, you
resource.
do.
So
Yep.
so more is happening in the process than you actually just meeting your goal. More is
That's right.
happening in the process than your vision being manifested. There is a lot of education going on.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of education going on, and and as you're learning, you become an expert in whatever field that is. You
That's
become a
right.
go-to person. You become a help, a resource in that field.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more than meets the eye. There's more going on. So on this Wednesday, we're gonna close soon. On this
Yes. Yes.
Wednesday, um, if you've been hearing, understand that you're going to have opposition,
Yes. Yes.
but don't look at the opposition in an intimidating way.
Right.
Look at the opposition as an opportunity to learn and grow so you become better at what you're called to do. Look at the opposition as a means that you may have to shift. You may
Yes.
have to
Yes.
go into evasive action. When we talked earlier about the countermeasures, you see, the flak now is guided missiles, right, that are
Mm-hmm.
attracted to heat. The countermeasures give off heat behind you, where you were, where
Come
you
on
no
now.
longer
Come on.
are,
Yes.
so that
Yes.
the missiles attack your past.
Ooh.
But they cannot hit you where you are or intercept where you're going.
Come on. Is and what is it, brother? Is called an act. And why I use that, it is an analogy for three things. That
Mm-hmm.
A means you acknowledge your fear.
Yep.
That C means you're concentrated on your desired outcome. So no matter
Yes.
what's coming against you, you stay focused, you stay
Yes.
persistent, you operate in a spirit of preservation, as we said. And that final one, you're transferring those thoughts of fear of the unknown into thoughts of success. Because every
Yes.
step that you take guarantees you a level of preservation because you understand what it took to get from point A to point B, from point B to point C. You've learned something along the way that has made you stronger, better, sharper, and ready for more. And that's where you increase the value of what it is that you are and who you are, knowing whose you
Ah, see, now you're learning.
are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's an awesome acronym. ACT.
Yeah.
ACT. That's awesome. That's awesome. I pray that you caught that, rewind it, take some notes, but also in your life, constantly write notes. Constantly take
Always.
notes. You're
Always.
you're always being tested, so you might as well take
Yes.
notes.
Yep.
You're going to get some flack. You got to know
Hmm.
where it came from. You got to know where it came from, because that might be where you need to drop a bomb.
Come on now. I love
Ah,
it. I love it.
yes, continue to persevere. You guys are listening are blessed,
Yes.
and you
Yes.
are blessings. You're not just blessed. You're blessed to be a blessing.
Yes, you are.
So
Yes,
so
you are.
persevere to bless. and God will bless.
Yes,
If
he
you're
will.
faithful with the little, he blesses you with the much.
Yes,
So perseverance is about being faithful with the little,
that's right.
despite obstacles.
Yep,
And and ultimately because of obstacles.
that's right. That's right.
You're a problem solver. That's what a peacemaker is.
Yeah.
Where there's chaos, you're making peace.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the obstacle is for, is to bring you some chaos so that you can learn to make
Yeah, you
peace.
can grow. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you strengthen the muscle? You can't strengthen it
Resistance.
just by standing looking at the weights.
Resistance.
You got to get in there and pick up the weights. The weights makes the muscles,
Mm-hmm.
conform to the weight, which
Right.
causes the body to react a certain way. The muscles tear, the blood flows into the veins, which causes things to swell. And then
Mm-hmm.
those ligaments and tendons that make up the muscle begin to tear. And as they tear, intense resistance, when you're in recovery, that's where they begin to grow. But now they
Mm-hmm.
grow bigger, stronger,
Stronger.
because
Tighter.
they've come through the flak.
Mm-hmm.
So now the mission that you were looking to accomplish, you can
Mm-hmm.
accomplish that goal because you made it to the flat and now you're on target.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
Yes. Yes.
so
So
yeah,
so faith is resistance training.
there you go.
We're
There
preaching after
you go.
year. Faith is
Resistance
resistance
training.
training. As you're persevering, you're getting stronger.
Yes. And that
As
getting
you're
stronger
persevering,
makes you
you're getting
do what?
stronger.
It gives you the faith to believe that you can.
Yeah,
See,
exactly.
when you look at an acorn, what do you see? You see an
A
acorn,
tree.
but there's actually a tree in that
Tree
acorn.
in it. Yep.
Yeah. And actually
Yeah.
there's a forest in that acorn.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and and you have to see that, not
Yes.
the acorn. So you
Yep.
got to have vision to see
Mm-hmm.
beyond what is and what
Mm-hmm.
can be. And
Yep.
what happens, that creates a disciplined mind that you begin to think that way consistency. So when you look at things, you don't look at them the way other people look at them. You're
Yep.
looking at what can be. When you
Yes.
look at the person that's standing in front of you, because
Mm-hmm.
of your experiences, you've been where they are. You
Mm-hmm.
can see who they can be because you can see pretty much how much they can endure.
Yes.
So as a mentor, you develop your way of
Mm-hmm.
instructing them in such a way that you can bring out those things that need to be brought out at a time when they need to be. You don't give them more than they're ready to chew on before the time
Yes.
comes. You give them
Yes.
baby steps because you know this is their growing and learning period. Because you remember, I was once a baby, and this is
Yes.
how
Yes.
I got fed. Now they're a
Yes.
toddler. This is what you give them as a toddler. Once they start
Yes.
to mature and show that they are getting it and they're catching that aha moment, now that
Mm-hmm.
that mind is getting disciplined and they're
Mm-hmm.
developing this disciplined lifestyle, you
Mm-hmm.
can give them the more advanced stuff because they can
Yes.
handle it now because they can see beyond.
Yes.
You never stop being a mentor because guess what? Mentors have mentors.
They have to have them. They
You
have to
have to
have them.
have. You can't be
But
successful. The greatest people in the world have mentors. That's what masterminds are about.
mm-hmm.
You bring a conglomerate of great minds together
Mm-hmm.
to build and grow and bring freshness and vision
Mm-hmm.
in order for you to get to the next level.
Yes.
So you stay hungry.
You talked about the acorn. You know, in perseverance, you have to understand to do what you can do. You have to
Yes.
have, you have to understand that God is going to provide the forgetful squirrel.
Yep.
You can understand what I'm saying in a second, because as you were saying the whole thing, God is going to provide the forgetful squirrel. You see, when you're standing firm and you're upstanding and you're standing upright and you're producing the acorn, you're doing
Mm-hmm.
what you can do. The most you can do is produce it and drop it.
Yep.
Someone else is going to pick it up,
Come on now.
right? You want to have the forgetful squirrel. What does the forgetful squirrel do? They'll take that acorn and they will store it. They'll dig a hole and store it in the ground. But they may forget where they left it. And
That's
guess
right.
what happens? The water comes.
Yes.
The
Yes.
sun
Yes.
shines. And
Come
there's a
on.
child, a new tree that's going to grow right next to you, or
That's going
right
to grow
near
right
you.
next to the. Yep. 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 Yep.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep.
Never
So you
fail.
need you do what you can do, and God will bless you with the forgetful squirrel.
That's right. That's right. You do what's called preparation,
Yes.
and He will do the rest. You know,
Exactly.
and there's three things about preparation. It takes
Hmm.
place beyond you,
Yes.
and it's a powerful weapon against fear,
Yes.
and it demands something that's key:
Yes.
intentional focus and patience.
You need patience.
You
You
got to have
must have
patience.
patience because the process will not come to fruition. It will
That's
not bear
right.
fruit. You don't just plant a seed and drop a little water and turn around and there's fruit. No,
Nope.
there's a whole process. Seasons change,
That's right.
climate change, all sorts of changes are going to have to happen. But you have to be steady
You
to
got to be
water it,
steady. Yep.
and God will provide the sunlight, the
Yes, He
photosynthesis.
will.
He'll
Yes, He
provide the
will.
sunlight. He'll even provided the water for you to give it, right?
Hmm.
You just have to be wise enough to set it up so that the irrigation happens, so what has been planted gets watered,
That's right.
right?
So what does that take? It takes wisdom. It takes
Mm-hmm.
self-control. It takes
Mm-hmm.
discernment. It takes
Mm-hmm.
being persistent that it will come to fruition, and
Mm-hmm.
that's your faith. And then it takes the resilienceness to just believe, no matter what the opposition that comes
Mm-hmm.
against you, no matter what that flack is,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to accomplish the mission. And that's where the patience comes in, because you
Right.
know the end result is guaranteed to happen if you do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know, it
So
means
so
you, what is success? You're operating with 1,000% commitment.
yep.
A thousand
Oh,
percent.
Ron.
Yeah, we gotta get off here.
You got to get out of here. We got to get because we can keep going. We prayed earlier for your perseverance, and now we're
Yes,
praying
yes.
that you press forward despite your obstacles. Sometimes because of your obstacles. So we pray that you're excited to be alive, that you have a great day, that this conversation bless you, that you overcome the flack, you
Yes.
overcome the insults, overcome the abuse, overcome
Hmm.
the lying. People have been lying on you, uh,
Yeah.
and some people have been relying on you, not in an unhealthy way. They've been relying on you in an unhealthy way.
Yes.
So you have to understand how to persevere with
Hmm.
wisdom, consistency, and diligence, so that you can have
Yes.
peace in your doing and do well. We love you.
Yes.
We pray that you have an incredible day and that you persevere. Get by this hump day doing well. We love you.
Yes.
Shalom.
Love you.